Welcome back to the channel. I just watched the July 27th to 31st promo video for like the 50th time, and my mind is completely blown. We need to talk about Kristen DiMera right now. I mean, I knew her time in Salem was ticking down because she has literally alienated every single person in this town, but getting gagged and dragged into a transport vehicle by a masked henchman? I was screaming at my laptop screen. React first, explain later, right? But seriously, seeing Kristen getting a taste of her own medicine is the most satisfying yet terrifying thing ever. And that henchman, did you guys hear him? He literally growls, "Have a safe flight," while Kristen is looking completely panicked and helpless. Who is that man? I am so obsessed with this mystery right now. Because if you remember, Gwen Rizczech also got snatched by a masked man recently, and all signs point to her being dumped on DiMera Island. Am I the only one who thinks this is the exact same dude? Or at least someone working for the exact same boss? We have to figure out who is pulling the strings here, because this is a massive, highly coordinated attack on some of Salem's biggest, most dangerous schemers. You don't just kidnap Kristen DiMera without a flawless master plan. So let's talk about the prime suspect, EJ DiMera. I kind of feel like EJ is the obvious choice here, but also it makes perfect sense. I mean, Kristen literally tried to have his son Johnny killed. You do not cross EJ DiMera when it comes to his kids, ever. We know that at some point this coming week, Kristen and EJ are going to have this massive face-to-face confrontation where they are finally completely honest with each other. I am bracing myself for that scene because Dan Feuerriegel and Stacy Haiduk are going to absolutely tear the scenery apart. I can already picture the venom in their eyes. But is EJ acting alone? Does he even have the bandwidth to orchestrate this flawless kidnapping while dealing with the whole Holly Jonas drug framing mess and Johnny threatening to turn against him? Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the other massive theory floating around the forums right now. Dimitri. Yes, Dimitri von Leuschner. Think about it. Gwen is already missing, presumably trapped on DiMera Island. Dimitri has every reason to be involved in this chaotic mess, especially when it comes to Gwen and the DiMera family politics. What if EJ and Dimitri actually teamed up? I know some people are loving the idea of EJ being a lone wolf mastermind here, but personally, I think a dark, twisted alliance between EJ and Dimitri to clear the board of their mutual problems would be epic. I've been watching since 2015, and this is honestly the best thing they've done with the DiMera family dynamics in years. It's giving me vintage Stefano vibes, and I am entirely here for it. A joint strike to take out Kristen and Gwen? Sign me up. But actually, maybe Dimitri is double-crossing EJ? If Dimitri is the one controlling the henchman, he could be playing EJ like a fiddle. EJ might think he ordered the hit on Kristen, but Dimitri could be hijacking the whole operation for his own endgame. See, this is why I love this show. I am literally contradicting my own theories as I type them, because there are so many juicy possibilities. Okay, back to the point. We have to talk about Kristen's original plan before she got snatched, because it was so ridiculously unhinged. She actually thought she could just swap places with the dying Lexi Carver and ship her sister off to die on DiMera Island while she escaped into the sunset. Like, how twisted is that? But Kristen was already starting to panic that the swap wasn't going to work. You can see the wheels spinning in her head in the promo. She knows the walls are closing in on her. But she never in a million years expected to be physically overpowered and kidnapped. Remember when they tried this kind of victim flip storyline with Sammy years ago. Yeah, didn't work then either, but with Kristen, it feels like absolute poetic justice. But before all this kidnapping chaos explodes, we are getting some seriously heavy, gut-wrenching emotional scenes with Abe and Lexi. I am already crying just thinking about it. The promo shows Abe and Lexi sharing this incredibly meaningful, heartbreaking moment together. There are going to be these deeply emotional confessions as Lexi prepares for what she thinks are the next steps in her life, or rather, her death. She knows she is fading. Doctor. Rolf's serum is failing, and her body is giving out. And Abe is just standing there, trying to be strong for the absolute love of his life, completely unaware of the sick, twisted swap Kristen was trying to pull off right under their noses. I'm sorry, but hasn't Abe suffered enough? The man is a literal saint. He has been through absolute hell and back with the DiMera family for decades. First, Lexi dies years ago. Then she is magically resurrected by EJ, which gives Abe and Theo this beautiful, fragile hope that they can be a family again. And now that hope is being violently ripped away because the serum is a dud. It is so incredibly cruel. I know this is a soap opera and we need drama, but watching Abe and Theo freak out and rush a collapsing Lexi to University Hospital is going to destroy me emotionally. Lexi realizes she can't just sneak away to the island on her own steam. Her body is physically shutting down in front of her family. And Theo, my heart breaks into a million pieces for Theo. He just got his mom back. He was just starting to accept this miracle, and now he has to watch her collapse and realize she is dying all over again. When Abe and Theo finally learn the devastating truth about Lexi's prognosis, they are going to go absolutely nuclear on EJ. As they should. EJ played God with their lives. He brought Lexi back just to use her as a corporate pawn, and now she is paying the ultimate price. I kind of hope Theo punches EJ right in the face. EJ deserves it. He is losing control of everything. His company, his son Johnny, and now his own sister is getting snatched by a masked man. EJ's empire of lies is crumbling. Let's circle back to the absolute irony of Kristen and Gwen ending up on DiMera Island together. Because this is the juicy, karmic stuff I live for. If you remember, Kristen literally kidnapped Sarah Horton, shoved a mask on her face, and dumped her on that exact same island to rot. And who helped her keep Sarah there, away from Xander? Gwen Rizczech. So the fact that both Kristen and Gwen are now being hunted, kidnapped, and dragged to the very island where they tortured Sarah is the absolute definition of karma. It is so deliciously poetic. I am grinning from ear to ear just thinking about these two villains locked in a cell together, realizing they are finally getting what they deserve. And while Kristen and Gwen are getting dragged off to an island prison, what are Sarah and Xander doing? They are sharing a quiet, peaceful moment. They are finally on the road to a real reunion. I mean, the contrast is just brilliant writing. The victims are finally finding peace, and the abusers are getting thrown into a nightmare. I know some fans in the group chats are complaining that the pacing is too fast right now, but I strongly disagree. We have waited years for Kristen to face real consequences that don't just end with her escaping to a convent in Italy or putting on a ridiculous mask. We need to see her sweat. We need to see her terrified in the back of that van. So, how does the big EJ and Kristen confrontation fit into all of this? The spoilers say they finally get honest with each other. Does EJ confess to her face that he ordered the hit? Does he look her dead in the eye and say, "Have a safe flight, sister," right before the henchman grabs her? Or does Kristen figure it out when it's too late? The layers to this storyline are insane, and I am going to be glued to my screen every single day next week. The DiMera family is tearing itself apart, and I am bringing the popcorn. So yeah, I am running on fumes and caffeine right now, but I had to get this out of my system. The week of July 27th to 31st is going to go down in day's history as one of the best sweeps weeks ever. The tragic collapse of Lexi, the righteous rage of Abe and Theo, and the epic, long overdue downfall of Kristen DiMera. I am going to need a lot of tissues and maybe a strong drink to get through these episodes. Are you guys as hyped as I am? Do you think EJ is working alone, or is Dimitri pulling the strings? Drop your wildest theories below, because I need to talk to people who understand this crazy show,